Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to another episode of To the Moon. And I'm super happy today because my boy Jared is with us. Guys, this podcast is such an incredible journey for me personally, just selfishly, just saying this, because I get to see all these people that when they first got started with us, had one experience with this business of real estate investing, and then literally moonshots after that. And Jared is one of those individuals. So Jared, welcome to the moon, bro. Your story is so inspiring, and I cannot wait to share it. What's up, bro? Where you at?
I'm in Virginia right now, man. I appreciate you having me here, bro.
Of course. Of course. Good to see you, man. And it's not just you working in the business, right? You're does your significant other work in it with you as well?
Yeah, she does. She helps out a lot. She's a huge backbone for me, and she's been mostly helping me with the stuff that I'm doing right now. But as of this week, she's actually going to start doing agent outreach on her own as well in Charlotte. So we're going to roll out our
Amazing.
market. Yeah.
Amazing. So we fast forwarded here. Let's rewind us back to the start. Jared, how did you even come to find out about real estate investing, wholesaling, the blue man himself? How did you come to Astro? Like what was your journey here, brother?
Yeah. So I met my fiance now, who we met at a job that we both worked at in a grocery store. And when we first met, she's talking about how she wants to be in real estate, like she wants to be a real estate investor. And at the time, I was just playing baseball, and my dream was to play professional baseball. So I was, playing college baseball and focused on that. And she introduced me to this concept of real estate. And so we sat down one night, and she wanted to own rental properties. And so we were like, well, we're working at a grocery store. How do we go from there to owning properties?
Right.
And so we sat down one night and went on like a binge on researching it. How do you get started in real estate? How do you build up to that? And we came across wholesaling. I think Jerry Norton's channel came up.
Great guy, by the way. I love Jerry so much.
Jerry's awesome.
Pioneer in this space, and so good person to come across right out the gate.
Very much, yeah. Him and Max Maxwell were like the two first.
Great. Both of them are incredible human beings.
Very, very, very cool guys. Yeah. And so we just binged it, and we started out trying to wholesale using like on market stuff that Jerry teaches, and picked up some traction, like got some stuff locked up, never sold anything though. Like I had to cancel some contracts, and I wasn't running my numbers right and making mistakes, as everybody does when they get in. And then I came across Brent Daniels and Wholesale Hotline, and so I was looking at it and I was like, I can keep doing what I'm doing. And
which was what? What were you specifically doing at the time?
Everything.
Okay.
Like just trying to juggle everything, dude. I would do, a month of on-market stuff, and then I would hear Brent talk about, TTP. And I'm like, all right, let me get on the phone and start cold calling sellers. And then I did that for like 3 months. And then we did direct mail for a while. And so it got to a point where I was like, I can keep just trying to do, everything, or I can focus on dialing down on something, but I need guidance. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm making mistakes, and, I wanted to shorten the learning curve. And that's
Right.
when, I came across like your Astroflipping ads, the Blue Genie, like you said, and stuff like that.
And something resonated with you there, and you decided to join in with the Astro fam, and it's been an incredible journey for you in there. But just like what I wanted to highlight, a couple key things here that you say, Jared, that I think are really important. I want the audience to pick up. First, you guys are working at a grocery store, and the audacity of you guys to work in a grocery store and then think of how the hell are we going to get out of here? No, that's exactly the kind of thinking that you need to get out of that situation. Yep. Right? Wherever you are in life right now, whatever's going on in your situation. I mean, I've had some terrible jobs, but no matter what situation I was in, I was always looking ahead. I was always looking up to see where am I going to get to. And my current circumstances were never going to tie me down to what I believed was possible for me in my future. And so congratulations on having that mindset, because immediately right there you won the game, because you decided, no, this isn't us right now. This is what we're doing to survive. What's us is where we're going. And so huge kudos there. The next thing that I think is really important is what's symptomatic of a lot of people who get into this is trying, 30 different things, right? Like, oh, I'm going to hire a VA, or I'm going to get this list, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to do this. And I'm going to have PPC, or I'm going to go get bandit signs, or I'm going to go do some direct mail. And it can get really expensive because if you are spending money on any of that, look, paid marketing can work, but you have to pay consistently and you got to go for a long time and you got to build up a pipeline and you have to have a really good, robust follow-up system as well as some infrastructure in place in order to be Johnny on the spot when the phone rings. And not a lot of people can do both, right? They invest in making the phone ring, but then they can't invest in handling the lead once the lead gets in there, right? And so you decided enough is enough. I'm going to figure something else out. I'm going to do this thing, that Jamil says doesn't require paid marketing. So what was your journey then? You get into Astroflipping and what happens?
So we joined in May of last year, right around a year almost.
Amazing.
Like a year and 2 weeks.
Happy year anniversary.
Yeah, thank you, bro. And so we joined in, and I told my fiance, we were unemployed at the time because we got laid off from COVID. We were working at a warehouse and they laid us off, so I had a lot of time on my hands. And I told her, like, I'm this is all I'm doing for like a month. Like I'm gonna lock myself in a room and I'm just gonna go through it. And I mean, just like everybody else says, and everybody says it because it's true, the mindset part of the course really altered like a lot for me. You know what I mean? Like it really brought a lot of stuff to light where I was like, wow, I didn't realize how much mindset affects everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I focused on that. I don't want to say I rushed through it because I took my time, but I did crank it out because I was like on a mission. I was like, I want to, I want to really get going on this. And I wish I had it on me. We just got moved in here, so it's packed in a box somewhere. But I had like 2 notebooks, like just jammed with notes from the course. Like I was taking notes on everything, and 3 weeks in, right around when I was on the 3rd week of the course, I got an MLS deal under contract, and ironically, we sold it over list price just because it was a hot deal in a hot neighborhood.
Right, and it had been newly listed, right?
Yeah, it was on. So the way it worked was we offered on it right when it hit the market, and somebody else got it, and then their offer fell through, and the agent called us up and was like, "Are you guys still interested?" And I was like, "Yeah," like because I had told them beforehand, like, "Look, if this falls through, give me a call," And they asked, and we were like, "Let's do it right now," and so we locked that up, and it was for 116 is what we locked it up at, I think, or 114, and we sold it for.
And where was the deal located?
Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia. Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, so you lock it up at 114.
Yep.
And then what happens?
So I called up. I had a small buyers list at the time because, like I said, this was week 3, so I hadn't had crazy amounts of hours put into building my buyers list. So I probably had a couple hundred guys, but no one that I had really built like a serious relationship yet. So I called agents, and one of the agents that I got in contact, who was actually one of the first guys I talked to, was a really big agent in the area. And I was like, "Hey man, I have this deal. We just got it under contract and I'm looking to assign it." And I'm like, "Do you have any buyers that might be interested in it?" And he's like, "Yeah, me." And I was like, "All right." Like, he's like, "Send me the details and I'll go walk it and bring my contractor." And we were asking 135, I think, and he ended up saying, "I'll buy it 130 right now." And I was splitting it with another wholesaler at the time, so I was like, "All right, let's do it."
Amazing. So your first deal out the gate, you make what, 15 grand, almost 14,000?
Yeah, so we double closed it. So after double closing it, I think we made like 14 and a half, like 14.5.
Incredible. And then and it just snowballs after that, right? So then how do the wins keep stacking?
So honestly, for the next, so that was we closed that in July. There was a title issue, so closing got delayed, I think 2 or 3 weeks, and we closed it, I think it was July 27th. And we did another deal. So I did one more in August, closed that one in September. And then, so between July when we closed that first one and December, we did 6 deals. One of them was a package, so I guess it's really 5 deals, but we sold 6 houses. And it was kind of slow, so we were averaging like a little over a deal a month, maybe. And but it was, I mean, it was life changing, dude, because you have to understand we were going from making $15 an hour,
Yeah.
what I mean, to working 40 hours a week. So you're talking like $25,000 a year tops,
Right.
and just make 10,000 more than that, in like half a year tops. And after that, I kind of sat back and was like, what's working? What is, because it was inconsistent. I would get a deal, and then another month would go by, and I would get one more, and I was like, how do I optimize this? Like, how do I take this and make it consistent? And I realized agents, dude, that's where it was. It was all the success I was having was all real estate agent related, because I was trying to micro flip at the same time, and I had like multiple deals locked up, and none of them closed because I wasn't doing things right. I was like, I wasn't staying on top of it, and the deal would fall through because I wasn't communicating with my buyer the right way or whatever, or my relationship with the other wholesaler wasn't there, and I was like, it just seems like I'm having much more. I'm just building better relationships with agents. I'm having
Right.
more success with that, so I just kind of doubled down on it.
And then, you made the pivot into agent outreach, and how did that unfold?
So I started using the KPIs that you talk about, like, hey, talk to 50 agents a day, and I was doing it all through text because I just felt like I was having more success with that. Like, I started out cold calling them and had some really good conversations, but I was struggling to hit 50 contacts a day for whatever reason. And so I sat there and I was like, I'm getting a lot of responses through text. What if I call up the agents that respond to my texts and do that? And I'll talk to, I'll be able to reach out to more people that way. And so I started focusing on that, and that started piling up. And for the first 3 months or so that I really doubled down on agent outreach, I made that decision in September. So from September to December, we did 3 deals. So it was like one a
Awesome.
month.
Okay.
And after that, dude, Brent, Pace, you guys all talk about it. You have to be consistent for 90 days. If you're
Yep.
consistent for 3 months, 90 days, it's going to happen, dude.
Yep.
And that's what happened. From September to December, we did 3. January, we did 5. February, we did 4. Just like that, dude. It like exploded.
Because you started building up the pipeline, right? It takes time to create the follow-up sequence in order to have those agents bear fruit. That's the thing I keep telling people. It's that, look, the money is not in the high, it's in the high again. It's not in the high, it's in the high again. Guys, write that down, tattoo that on your forehead. It's true. The money is not in the high, it's in the high again. How many times do you end up having to follow up with an agent before they provide a deal?
Oh man, dude. I would say so. I know I can give you an example. I had one agent that I followed up with, I think it was 18 times, and they didn't even respond to like 75% of those messages. I would say the agents that I have done a deal with, I've probably followed up with them 10 to 15 times minimum between each deal, I would say, more than likely. And I follow up usually weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, depending on, how active the agent is. Sometimes a month. It depends on the agent.
Right.
But yeah, it took a while to build that up. Like it really did.
And our average is 8 to 13 follow-ups. So your numbers are right in line at 10 to 15. So, or slightly higher than that. And that's average, right? That's how many times you're going to have to communicate with and follow up with an agent before they're going to provide you an opportunity or give you a deal. But you have to be following up in order to show up when they have the opportunity available. If you're not following up, that deal's going on the MLS or that deal's going to another buyer, right? You have to be so consistent with your follow-up with that agent that you are ready and there the moment they have that opportunity available. And that's what you've been doing. And so you do a deal September, October, November, December. You do 3 deals in that time. And then boom, January, you do 4 deals. So what were the deal sizes, from September to December?
So I want to.
While you were building up.
Yeah. So deal sizes. This is interesting. The deal sizes from September to December were averaging like 10,000. 10, 15,000 was our, like, it would be 10,000 on average, and then we would hit like a 15 here and there. So what happened was I met a buyer that bought, I had a package deal and he bought the package and it was like smooth, like real smooth. And I was like, okay, I like this guy. I want to build a relationship with him. And right at that same time, I read The Go Giver, which I think Brent had mentioned it on Wholesale Hotline. And I was like, it's like I don't know, maybe 100-page book. And
It's tiny.
it's real short. Yeah. I mean, I read it in like 2 days maybe. And dude, that like was another huge mindset shift. Like the value that you provide is the value that you get in return. And so, I sat down with that buyer and I was like, dude, the deal that we did was like seamless. And that's what, because I had other deals that were not close to
That way.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you remember on I did a live call with you once on the live calls that you do.
Yes.
Where I had 2 buyers flake out in the same.
Yes. You were stressed out,
Dude,
bro.
yeah, bro. I was really stressed because that agent had sent me like multiple good opportunities. And I was like, dude, I don't want to lose this relationship. And that's like scarcity mindset. Like I've grown, and realized that like it's not as big of a deal as I thought it was at the time. I can still.
You can always smooth things over after a little bit of time, even when you have to cancel. If it happens, you can always recover.
Yes.
With an apology and integrity. But
Exactly.
that said, yep.
That was a huge. So when I read that book, though, I went to that buyer that had closed that package deal, and I was like, man, I really want to do more deals with you. And so, what needs to happen, for us to do that? And he's like, I just need to know that it makes sense for me. I have a formula that I run. If it meets that formula, we're good to go. And so I asked him, like, what's your formula? And he gave me, it's similar to, what most, so instead of like the percentage of ARV that you talk about in Astro, it usually works out to right around the same number, but he'll do like, he'll ARV times 92% minus repairs minus profit, his desired profit. And usually, as long as it's not, a full gut, it's right around 70%, which is what Richmond's market is that you put out there. And so we did a couple like that, and it eventually got to the point where I don't even have to offer an inspection period anymore, because what he'll do is he'll go in there before I even write it up. Like he'll tell me, hey, if you can send me the address beforehand to make our offers stronger, I'll go into the property beforehand. Because he's a licensed agent, so he can go in through the lockbox, look at the house, and then tell me, dude, this is my buy price. Negotiate whatever you want off of that. And that's what we do. And it's kind of like reverse wholesaling. You know what I mean? like I've noticed since narrowing down my buyers list, because there's other buyers I work with as well if he doesn't want it. But dude, I've done it. I'll put it this way. Beforehand, I was probably working like 60 plus hours to get a deal minimum, like probably closer to 80. And nowadays it's like every week I'm getting a deal now, and I'm working like, this is going to sound crazy, and I don't want, like, I feel like when I say this, it makes me sound like lazy almost, but I'm only working like 25 hours a week at this point, because family time is super important to me. So I'll work like 5 hours a day hard. I think I lost your sound.
That's sorry about that. And how much money are you going to make this month only working 25 hours?
25,000.
Wow, dude.
It's awesome, dude. It is awesome.
That is, and last month, what did you make?
32,000.
And what are you going to make next month?
It's between 25 and 30, probably.
So you're consistent now. You're getting to a point where you guys are doing 25 to 30K a month. How much is your marketing spend every month?
0.
Interesting. So would you say that focusing on an activity like agent outreach, really understanding your numbers, really learning how to comp, really dialing in on developing buyer relationships, doing it the hard way, which is what I look, guys, I've never told anybody what I'm going to teach you is going to be easy, but it's going to work. It ain't going to cost you an arm and a leg. It's going to cost you time and sweat energy, but it's going to work. And you get what you put in, right? You put in the consistent effort, you dial in your systems, you get your follow-up cadence correct, and then you start to develop relationships with the appropriate people in the space that you're working exactly the way that you've done, you get the result, right? So if there was anyone out there just getting started in wholesale that's like floundering right now, that's, in the whole thousands of dollars in a paid coaching that's, where the people don't show up or whatever, what would you suggest for them to do?
So I get asked a lot. Like there's people in the Astro community that reach out to me now. I'm very grateful to be recognized as somebody that can value or provide valuable information. And I'm really grateful for that. And I always tell people the same thing. I say, look, just because agent outreach works for me, you might like micro flipping more. You might like, maybe you're a big direct to seller guy. But I tell people like pick what resonates with you. Pick whatever makes sense for you. If working with agents works for you, which to me I think it's the best way, do it. And the reason I think it's the best way, just for disclosure, is because of the repeat business that you get, the
Right.
relationships that you can build. Like you talk about Monique Walker all the time. That relationship alone provides you so much value, and because you provide her so much
$1 million
value.
a year. I
Yep.
wouldn't, if I didn't have to do any other job, if I didn't have any other relationships, I just worked with Monique Walker and my 4 sticky buyers that constantly buy houses from me, I'd make $1 million a year. I could live on the beach
Yep.
anywhere. I just decide I want to do more than that.
That's right. That's it, dude. That's how it works for me. Like, so I always tell people pick one strategy that you can stick to every single day for however many hours you can put to it. And that's another thing too, is a lot of people ask me like, how many hours should I be working? How many? And I always say and I've heard this from you, and this is why I say it, whatever you can do consistently. You know what I mean? Like, don't because I get a lot of guys that I'm doing like 12 hours a day and stuff. And I'm like, but can you do that for 90 days in a row and not get burnt out? Because if you can, then do it for sure. If if you're that passionate about it, if you have that much time to dedicate towards it and it's not going to interfere with anything, or I shouldn't say that because you have to sacrifice some stuff. But as long as you can still do what you need to do and work 12 hours or whatever, then do it. But for me, like I do 5 hours because if I do an 8 hour day, 5 days a week, it builds up, dude. Like it's like, I want to be spending time with my family and stuff. So I know I can sit down every single day and do the same thing for 5 hours. So for me, it's pick a strategy and do it every day for however many hours you can consistently do it for. And you're going to get results if you're practicing, and you're improving. Like
That's
if you
it.
refine it, you're going to get better.
Are we having you at the mastermind this time?
When is it?
On June 13th to 17th, I think it is.
I don't think so.
You got to be at the next one, bro.
Yeah, I know. I told I can't remember his name. Somebody reached out to me from your team and was telling me about it. And I think because we just moved, it was just like a rough
Bad
spot.
timing. But no,
Yeah.
I'd like to have you there because I think you're at the point now where, going from 25, 30K a month to 50, 60, it's that next leap. And it's going to require some more infrastructure to get there.
For sure. I was telling
And
the CPA that I got from Prime Corporate Services from you guys, I was telling him, I'm like, man, I gotta get my business credit going so I can start going out to Jamel and Pace's masterminds.
I mean, you're making the money now, so I mean, that's not even an issue. What you really need to do though is start creating this in a way that you can do less than 25 hours a week.
That's
Right?
right.
If I didn't step into Keeglee this week, I'm still gonna do $250,000.
Yep.
Like that's the facts. I'm still going to do over $250,000 in assignments, and I'm not going to go into the office this week. So
Yep.
that's how we get there, right? It's just growing and building. But Jared, you are such a giver. How do people reach out to you, man? How do people do deals with you in Richmond, Virginia? Do you want to give out your phone number? You're going to get blown up, but people will do all kinds of business with you. Go ahead and tell people how to find you, bro.
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook. You can just search my name. It's Jared Hettler. Is the spelling going to be on the on the
Yep.
video?
Yeah, they'll see your spelling. Jared. If you're listening to this, it's Jaredhettler.
Yep. You can just reach out to me on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram because I'm just lazy about it, I guess. Like I need to be, but I haven't gotten
Personal
there
brand, bro. It's the
yet.
next.
Yeah,
It's
I
also
know.
the next level.
I keep telling my fiance like we got to get it going.
And
But,
what about your phone number? You're
yeah.
gonna give out your phone number?
Yes. Yeah. You guys can text me. It's 570-764-2410.
There you have it, guys.
Hit me
Your
up.
phone's gonna blow up, Jared. Guys, if you have opportunities, if you have deals in Richmond, Virginia, and you want to connect with somebody with legit buyers that can make it happen for you, reach out to Jared. In addition, if you are looking at an opportunity and you don't know what to offer on that property, hook up with Jared. He will help you out. That's what this Astro community is all about. It's not just about the people inside our community, it's the people outside that we can bring in and that we can help provide value to. So, Jared, congratulations on making it to the moon, baby.
I appreciate you, bro. I've been waiting to do it for a while.
Appreciate you back, brother. Keep working hard. Keep blasting off. You're the man, homie.
I appreciate it, man.